billionaire opens his disabled son room and can't believe what he sees. A billionaire comes home early and hears laughter where there should be silence. Inside his son's room, a homeless girl with nothing but a banana pretends to be a warrior and somehow makes a boy in a wheelchair feel powerful again. What the father discovers next will break him and change everything. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments, what time is it and where are you watching from? Let's start. Marcus Whitfield had built his fortune in tech. Algorithms, acquisitions, numbers that moved markets, but no amount of money could prepare him for what waited behind his son's bedroom door that bright, deceptive afternoon. At 42, Marcus still wore his power-like armor. The navy blue suit fit perfectly. The white shirt was crisp, untouched by the day. He had come home early from a board meeting, something he almost never did. The mansion felt hollow as he crossed it, the echo of his footsteps reminding him how large the house was and how little of it felt alive. His wife was at a charity luncheon. The staff had the day off. Silence filled every corridor. He was on his way to check on Oliver. His 8-year-old son lived on the ground floor now after the accident 2 years earlier. The screech of tires, the metal folding in on itself, the hospital lights that never dimmed, stairs had become impossible. So Marcus had moved everything, rooms, furniture, schedules, lives. Oliver used a wheelchair. The doctors said, from the waist down in careful voices, as if the words themselves might shatter if spoken too loudly. Marcus had learned how to nod when they talked. As he neared the bedroom door, something stopped him. Laughter. Not just Oliver's quiet, careful laughter, the kind that came and went like it was rationed, but another voice layered over it. Bright, unrestrained. A child's laugh that didn't ask permission to exist, and beneath it, something else Marcus hadn't heard in 2 years, the sound of feet moving across the floor. He slowed, his hand lifted. He pushed the door open just enough to see inside, and everything he thought he understood about his son, his house, his life, froze. Oliver sat near the open patio doors, sunlight spilling across the floor and catching in the spokes of his wheelchair. He wore his red t-shirt and gray pants, his arms thrown into the air like he had just won something enormous. His face, Marcus's breath caught at the sight of it, was alive. Not polite happy, not brave for Dad happy. Alive happy. In the middle of the room stood a girl. She looked about 10. Her hair was pulled back, not neatly styled, but tied with care, like someone used to make and do with what they had. She wore a tan tunic that had been washed too many times and gray pants that were slightly too short at the ankles. Her shoes were mismatched sneakers, scuffed thin at the soles. In her hands she held a banana. She held it like a sword. Her stance was wide, practiced, fearless. One arm thrust forward, the other stretched behind her, body caught mid-motion in a warrior's pose that didn't look pretend at all. "And the warrior strikes," she shouted, lunging forward, the banana cutting the air. Oliver whooped, fists pumping. "Yes, you got the dragon. You saved the kingdom." Marcus stood there, unmoving, his hand still on the doorknob. His mind scrambled for explanations that didn't make sense. He recognized the girl now, not from introductions or dinners, but from passing glimpses outside, the one who sat on the curb sometimes, the one with the backpack that never seemed to leave her shoulders. Amara, the homeless girl who slept behind the abandoned grocery store 3 blocks away. "Amara!" Oliver said, breathless with excitement. "Do the spinning move again, the one you showed me last week." Last week, Marcus's chest tightened. Amara grinned, stepping back through the open doors onto the patio stones. The garden behind her exploded with color. Roses, hydrangeas, yellow blooms Marcus's wife had planted with a landscaper's precision. Against that beauty, Amara looked smaller, more fragile, and somehow stronger than anything else in the frame. She spun, fast and fluid, banana flashing as she landed in another pose. Not clumsy, not silly, controlled. "My uncle taught me back home," she said, breathing steady. "Martial arts. Before things got messy." She lifted her chin. "He said everyone can be a warrior. Everyone. You just fight in the way you can." Oliver leaned forward in his chair. "Even me?" The word cracked. Amara stopped. She walked back inside, her steps soft, deliberate. She knelt in front of Oliver's wheelchair so they were eye to eye, her knees pressing into the expensive rug Marcus had chosen because it was easy to clean. "Especially you," she said quietly. "You fight every day. You wake up when it hurts. You try when people feel sorry for you. That's not weak. That's warrior stuff." Marcus felt something give way in his chest. When was the last time he'd spoken to his son like that? Not as a patient, not as a project, as a person. "Okay," Amara said, standing again, lifting the banana. "You're the general now. You tell me. Where do I strike? Left or right? High or low?" Oliver's eyes burned with focus. "Right. High. Take out the archers." She obeyed instantly, leaping, shouting, exaggerating her movements until Oliver dissolved into laughter so loud it bounced off the walls. Marcus stepped back into the hallway, his vision blurring. He leaned against the wall, the suit that cost more than Amara owned suddenly suffocating. For 2 years he had tried to fix Oliver. Doctors flown in from other countries, machines, therapy schedules so tight they left no room for childhood. He had turned joy into something that came after improvement, after progress, after results. He had forgotten that his son didn't need to be fixed. He needed to be seen. This girl, this homeless child with worn shoes and a banana, had given Oliver something Marcus never had, a world where he wasn't broken. Marcus pulled out his phone, but instead of checking his emails as he normally would, he opened his calendar. He canceled his next 3 afternoon meetings without hesitation. Then he scrolled through his contacts until he found one he hadn't called in months. His own childhood best friend David, who lived across the country with his family. He typed slowly, carefully, as if choosing the wrong words might undo what he had just witnessed. "Remember when we used to build forts and fight imaginary dragons? I think I forgot how important that was. Let's talk soon." Marcus slipped the phone back into his pocket and stood there for a moment longer, listening. The laughter from Oliver's room came again, sharp, unfiltered, alive. It didn't sound careful. It didn't sound fragile. It sounded like a child being a child. He quietly stepped away from the doorway, leaving the room as it was, leaving the game untouched, leaving the girl with the worn shoes and the banana sword to finish saving the kingdom. But this time, instead of retreating to his home office or making another call to a specialist, Marcus walked toward the kitchen. He rolled up the sleeves of his expensive shirt and started making sandwiches. Nothing elaborate. Bread, peanut butter, jelly, 3 of them, because in about 20 minutes he was going to knock on that door and ask if the kingdom might need a royal advisor, or maybe just another soldier. He wasn't sure if he remembered how to play anymore. He wasn't sure if he knew how to enter a world that didn't run on control and solutions, but he was willing to learn. After all, if a homeless girl with nothing but imagination and a banana could make his son feel like a warrior again, surely a billionaire could figure out how to be a better father. Marcus smiled to himself as another burst of laughter echoed through the house, filling rooms that had been silent for far too long. For the first time in years, the mansion didn't feel like a place built to manage pain. It felt like a home. Marcus finished preparing the sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly, Oliver's favorite, and poured lemonade into 3 plain glasses. His hands, steady in boardrooms and negotiations, trembled slightly as he balanced the tray and walked down the hallway. The mansion felt different now, not quieter, lighter, like something fragile had begun to breathe again. He knocked gently on Oliver's door. "Kingdom forces," he called, forcing a playful tone he hadn't used in years, requesting permission to enter with provisions. The laughter inside stopped abruptly. Oliver's voice came, small and uncertain. "Dad?" Marcus pushed the door open with his shoulder. "I heard there were warriors here who might be hungry after battle." Amara froze. She straightened too fast, lowering the banana sword like she'd been caught stealing instead of playing. Her eyes flicked to the door, then the window, calculating distance the way children learn to do when they don't always have somewhere safe to go. "Mr. Whitfield," she said quickly, already stepping back, I'm sorry. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be here. I can leave. I was just—" "No," Marcus said at once, setting the tray down. "Please, stay." She didn't move. Oliver looked between them, panic rising. "Dad, she didn't do anything wrong. She was just—" "I know," Marcus said gently. He pulled a chair closer and sat, loosening his tie. "I should have knocked earlier. That part's on me." Amara hesitated, then spoke quietly. "I don't come inside houses, usually, just— Here, Oliver lets me sit by the door." Marcus met her eyes. "How often have you been coming?" She swallowed. "After school, most days. I leave before dark." Something heavy settled in Marcus's chest. "Where do you go after?" he asked carefully. Amara looked down. "There's a place behind the old store. Some cardboard. It's dry when it doesn't rain." Oliver clenched his fists. "She tells me stories," he said urgently, "about warriors who lose things but don't quit. She says fighting isn't always about standing." Marcus closed his eyes for a moment. "Amara," he said when he could speak, "thank you for being honest, and thank you for being here." She nodded, unsure, still ready to bolt. Oliver looked up at his father. "You're not mad?" "Mad?" Marcus shook his head slowly. "No. I'm ashamed it took me this long to notice." He turned to Amara. "I'm Marcus. I'm glad you found your way here." She gave a small smile. "Oliver says this is where he feels normal." Marcus felt something crack open inside him. "Dad," Oliver said softly, "Amara says everyone fights different battles. Mine just looks different." "She's right," Marcus said, his voice rough. "And I forgot that." Amara shifted. "My uncle says a warrior is someone who keeps showing up, even when they're scared." Marcus stood and walked to the patio doors, staring at the garden he'd barely seen in months. Then he turned back. "I've been trying to fix my son instead of knowing him," he said. "Thank you for reminding me." Amara nodded. "My mom used to say different doesn't mean broken." Marcus picked up the tray. "Let's eat outside. And, Amara, if you don't have anywhere to go after, you don't have to rush." Oliver's face lit up. "Really?" "Really," Marcus said. "And tomorrow afternoon? No appointments, no therapy schedules, just time. But the doctors, they'll wait, Marcus said firmly. You deserve to live. As they moved to the patio, Oliver rolling forward, Amara walking beside him with the banana sword held loosely now, Marcus sent a message to his assistant, clearing every afternoon indefinitely. Then another to the doctors requesting changes. Then one to his wife. Come home. Something important happened. Marcus sat with them as the sun dipped low. For the first time in 2 years, he didn't see a wheelchair. He saw his son, a warrior, a child, still becoming, and beside him, a homeless girl with nothing but courage and imagination, who had taught a billionaire what real wealth looked like. This story wasn't ending. It was finally beginning. If this story made your chest tighten, don't stay silent. Like this video so more people see it. Comment below, was the father blind or just broken by fear? And subscribe for real, emotional stories where forgotten children are finally seen and small moments change lives forever.